So stay tuned. I'm just requesting you, usituache. We have enough for you, for the parents, for the teenagers, and by the end of this program, you'll have learned a lot. Together with me, I have my friends of whom we shall be having this conversation with, and I want to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. Welcome.
Thank you, Chapol. My name's Stephen Kihara. Just want to welcome you to our Teens Pathfinders show. Stay tuned and welcomed. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Bonita Wanjao. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Jocelyn Kawira. I'm a teacher and a mentor, and I welcome you to this evening program as we even discuss issues to do with time management. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that brief introduction. And also, I want to thank you, the viewers, for you have been following us, and you have been even leaving your comments on our page, because without that feedback, may not be possible for us to know where we need to improve on certain areas, and even the topics that affect our teenagers. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Stay tuned, and you can comment. Our page is already live on our Facebook page, and even on YouTube. You can ask a question, you can comment on the progress of today's program. And also I want to request you that you can share that page. You share the Dream Center, Happy Church, Radio Dream Center page on that any other platform. Because the things that we are discussing on this show, they are beneficial to teenagers and also the parents. So even friends of these teenagers, welcome on board. Let's have this information being shared widely. So today, I want us to have a conversation that is touching on the issue of time management. Because you know, time happens to everyone. And this is something that we are given by God, equal number of hours in a day. So when we talk about time management, this is especially the period we are going through, that because of the pandemic. We are almost now almost 7 months, especially for the teenagers. They have been at home, whereas much of their time they spend at school. And so there are issues that have come up because of having too much of it. As Apostle Paul once said that you should make the most out of every opportunity. So this time that our teenagers they have, they are spending most of the time at home, and we know the kind of life they were used to when they were in school. So we have been having issues that are coming up in the society, and when some of them don't know how to manage that time or what to do with that time. So we want to have a conversation today and try to help them. How do they manage the time that they have properly so that they can make the most out of it? So this is a conversation that is even touching even on the issue concerning parents, because they also need to manage taking the most out of it. So stay tuned and expect to learn a lot. Now, ni challenges gani ambazo wewe unapitia, especially this time that you have been at home for an extended period of time, as you try to manage the time that you have?
Okay, thank you, Chapol. That's a good question. Okay, you see kuna time tulikuwaga shule. In a way, jioni kuna zile assignments ze mlikuwa mnapewagwa. Sasa hakuna hizo assignment. Kusoma ndio huwa tunasoma. Ukiwa home utasoma, na utafanya chuo na unaweza fanya nini. Lakini tukiwa shule, isipokuwa tu kusoma, kuna zile clubs tulikuwaga nazo za kama Red Cross, kama Scouts. Sasa huko home hakuna clubs ka hizo. So kuna venye hadi tu ukijaribu kuchukua books, hauwezani kupanga yote time yako juu kila time, alafu tena kuna venye ulikuwa umepangiwa time shule na timetable ndio hiyo bell. Sasa home hakuna belio ya kupigwa. Hakuna venye home unaweza pata hapo timetable. Labda ukuwe na yako ya kusoma. Na hadi ukifollow utaifollow ndio, lakini bado kuna time yenye utakuwa idle sana. Yeah.
So kuna much of the things mlikuwa mnafanya like as a group, bell inapigwa, mnaenda place moja, mnaenda clubs, so that was now, but at the moment uko peke yako, but now there's a challenge. How do I organize myself and do all these activities? Oh, thank you so much for that honest contribution. Now, as I bring in Teacher Jocelyn, maybe from what Steve has shared with us, there are some of those challenges, and most of them they are coming because most of the time used to do like group things, clubs, societies, they are moving one lesson to the other, but now he's alone. So how would you maybe help him at this time when he is alone to manage or to overcome that challenge? Now that I was used to spending most of my time with my friends, and now I'm alone. Yes, to overcome that challenge, that he can be able now to manage time on his own.
Okay, thank you so much, Teacher Paul. And I thank you so much, Steve, for opening up and accepting that being at home alone is not as easy as it was when you're in school. Teacher Paul, I would want you to note that these students, basically, they had never been used to making a program for themselves. Actually, the teenagers, students in high school, in primary school, they normally fit in a program. So for now, they might find themselves that to plan for their own time is not very easy. And unless somebody is really focused, and unless somebody knows what they want out of life, most of them are likely to waste this time. And that's what I would advise Steve and all the other learners and all the other teenagers and all the students out there. Time, once it has passed, it has passed. But there is always a future. So it depends on what you are doing with this time. There may be no lessons. There may be no bells to tell Steve and the others that it is time to do this and this. But now you have to sit down with yourself and ask yourself, when I sit down and don't do anything, going to sleep the rest of my day, I decide I am not going to touch a book because there is no timetable. It's going to impact more on them negatively. You see, there is this problem of procrastination, whereby you plan you'll do something, but you don't do it because you are seeing a lot of time ahead. And that is what most of our learners are suffering from at this time. You see, before, when it is time for history teacher, there was no option. The history teacher will go. And if the history teacher is not available, another teacher will either go to class or they'll be given some work to do. Now, it's been months. This is the 7th month. And there is no, as in set dates when a student is going back to school. So they can keep on saying, I'll read tomorrow, I'll read in the evening, I'll read next week. And time goes on and goes on. What I would tell Steve and other students listening to us there, time wasted is never recovered. And there's something I used to tell students until I had to think about it. You know, I used to tell students time wasters have no future. But I realized that everybody has a future. The time wasters have a future, and those who are using their time have a future. What there is that the future is a future when they go back to school. One, they will not have forgotten the mathematics the teacher was teaching. They'll have read ahead of the teacher. And I want to tell students that when schools open, time will not be as it was before. They'll have to catch up with many things within a very short time. So those who are using their time now well, preparing for that, reading ahead of the teacher, writing notes, doing those mathematics, solving the questions, they'll have an easier time because the future will always be there. We are going back to school soon. I believe that.
Yeah.
But that future will be different depending on what someone is doing with their time at the moment.
Yes.
So I'll tell Steve and other young people listening to us this evening, don't sit down and keep on procrastinating on anything you want to do. Please make your own personal timetable and follow it strictly. I normally say this, a human being has a bigger brain than a chicken. You find a chicken when it decides to keep the eggs warm for 21 days. This chicken, even when the others are jumping up and down, it knows that I must remain within my eggs so that they are going to hatch. So this chicken which can make a decision, I can sacrifice a few hours so that tomorrow I'll have the chicken. If the brain is so small compared to the brain of a student. So I'm challenging our student out there. Yes, there are no bells at home. There is no timetable. And even if it has been put there, there's nobody to follow it. It is you who is going to follow. I know a few parents have gone ahead. They have made timetables for their children. But now, the parent is not there to monitor like the teacher on duty. You know, in school, there was a teacher on duty to make sure you are in for morning prep, there's no noise making, you are in for evening prep, the teacher is there for the lesson and all that. So even if the timetable is there, making that inner decision to follow, it lies on the students. And it is guided by the fact that there will be a future. So ask yourself as a student, what future am I looking unto? What am I expecting when schools reopen? Because the fact is, they will reopen. Whichever time they will reopen. What will I be waiting for? What is ahead of me? And once you start thinking that way, you can be able to overcome the challenge. It is there, but we can overcome and make a better future for ourselves.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And so the issue is that you thinking about the future. This time will pass. But now there's a future waiting for you. And there's a good point you've talked about, that even the time wasters, they have a future. The only difference, how will that future be? Thank you so much for that. Now, if I bring in Bonita, from what Steve has said, that there are those things that you used to do when you were school, and there was the bell, there was the timetable, but now at home, for this maybe the 7 months you've been away from school, maybe on a normal day, which are some of the activities ulikuwa una involve nazo, ama zile una spend like much of your day doing? Now that there are no bells, there's no timetable, umeandikiwa na walimu.
Unajua sasa kuna pandemic. So mama na prefer ukae home tu. Hataki ukitoka nje. So for example, maybe chatting with friends. You cannot meet each other au kwa neighborhood yenu.
So unakaa tu maybe kwa nyumba unacha. What else? I believe you, maybe there are some other activities. Maybe when you're not chatting, what else? Which other activities?
Watching TV.
Watching TV. Unajua siku ni kubwa. Has so many hours. Some of the activities, some other activity maybe.
Una prefer muende mcheze ball na hapo hivyo nje na rafiki yako, ama mnachukua kikundi yenu, mnaenda tu kukusanya mali tu, mwanze tu kuongea vijana, lakini si za wasichana. Juu kuna zile stories zenye tu huwa tu zinatokaga tu hivyo tu. Zina flow tu when you meet. At least siku inapita tu, masaa inapungua. Okay. Ama unapata umeingia YouTube, unaamua kuwatch series mzima kwa nini YouTube ama Netflix. Wow. So thank you so much for that honest contributions. Now I want to request Teacher Jocelyn. Now you've heard what they have said. At least for them, during the day they are busy. At least they are doing something.
But maybe which are some of those activities that they may engage in, and maybe some of them they are.
You don't think they are contributing. Okay, good. And Steve, how do you think they are contributing to your future?
They are not.
They are not. Okay, thank you so much for your sincerity. Okay, Teacher Paul, you're asking me how can they know that they are utilizing their time well?
Yeah.
And basically, you know, being busy is when you are doing something.
Yeah.
But you need to ask yourself, that which I am doing,
Yes.
how is it contributing to my good future?
Yeah.
You know, you can be busy, what we call busybodies. You are just busy doing anything.
Yeah.
But when you sit down and analyze, you sit down at the end of the day, can you count on something you have done that can make your future better? And that is what I would want to maybe speak to Bonita and Steve and all the other young people listening to us. In a day, you have 24 hours. You cannot get a good fraction for each of the activities you did. Let's say, for example, out of the 24 hours, you are counting around 13 hours of social development, whereby you are only enhancing your social friends, you are making them feel good about you, you are making them appreciate you, you are making them feel you are important and all that. Okay, you used time, but then the question is, when you use 13 hours for your social life, what have you done for your spiritual life?
Yes.
What have you done for your academic life? What have you done for your physical life?
Yes.
Because you will find somebody who is using 13 hours for social life. They don't even have time to go out and do a small game.
Yes.
They can't even go out and jog. So they are not having time for their physical health.
Yeah.
So in order to do, what there is out of the 24 hours, give yourself enough time for everything.
Yes.
And I would say, a student will always remain a student.
Yes,
And the greatest mission of a student is academics.
Yes.
So, out of your 24 hours, at least a third of those hours should go to your academics.
Yes.
The other third should go to sleep. At least every day, make sure you have 6 to 8 hours of continuous sleep, not of being in bed and checking on the phone now and then. That is unhealthy for your brain and for your body. So out of the 24 hours, if you spend a third, that is 8 hours on your academics,
Yes.
that is healthy. If you count even the hours they are in school, from 8
Yes.
to 4, they have around 9 or 10 lessons of 40 minutes for
Yes.
those in high school.
Yes.
And you multiply 40 minutes times 9, that is 360.
Yes.
That is 6 hours
Yes.
when they are in class with the teachers. And these teachers give them homework to do in the morning or in the evening. So you find by the end of the day, a learner has been active with materials, learning materials for around 8 hours.
Yes.
A student who knows there's a future
Yes.
should continue with that. At least assign yourself 8 hours for your academics. Then make sure you have 8 hours for continuous sleep. Then these other remaining hours, divide it.
Yes.
Maybe 1 hour for your physical fitness, maybe 1 hour for your social development, 1 hour for building the nation in one way or another. Another, divide those other 8 hours. Play around with them in all the other aspects. But at least 8 hours for academics and 8 hours for sleep.
Yes.
Sleep is healthy for your body. And it helps in enhancing even your memory and your understanding of what you read.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you so much. So the most important thing is for them to understand at this phase we say there are so many changes that are taking place in their both psychologically, in the developmental, even emotionally.
Yes.
So at least they allocate time for every maybe aspect of their growth.
Yes.
At least within those hours that they are, even sleep is important.
Yes.
At least within the 24 hours, they have at least ensured that they have allocated time for all those areas that affect their life.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that. Now,
Yeah.
Steve, touching on the issue of sleep. Yeah. So it's sleep, kulala. Yeah, the way you used to, ulikuwa unaamka kama saa ngapi before hii mambo ya pandemic, when you are going to school, and sahi, and then ulikuwa unalala saa ngapi that time?
Question cha Paul.
Yeah.
Okay, kabla history ya pandemic ikuje, nilikuwa naamka yani 4:30 nilikuwa nishaamka. But for now napata hadi saa 3 saa 4 na nipata kwa bed.
Bado umejiwekelea tu.
Na nikidoze kuna time nilikuwa na lalaga saa 3 saa 4. Saa hii hadi 12 inaweza fika. 12 inaweza fika kabla sijalala. Juu niko tu busy either na phone, ama ni movie na watch. Lakini juu najua ati kesho ni shule, sizilala hivyo.
Yeah. So there's that difference. Vile unaamka na kula. So what about so kulala?
Kulala ninalalaga mapema. Nilikuwa
Before
nalala
and
mapema.
now.
But for now hadi saa 6 naweza nipata kabla sijalala.
Yes.
Yeah.
Saa 6. But when you are before now the pandemic ulikuwa unalala mapema.
Hadi saa 3.
Kwa sababu unajua kesho
ni shule.
Ni kuna shule. Thank you very much for that honest. I would like also yet to hear from Bonita.
School days nilikuwa naamka 4.
Na alafu sahi what about now?
Sahi 8 ama 9.
8 hapo 9ish 8ish hapo. Na kulala jioni ukiwa shule?
Lala tuko tunalala 9:30. Sahi 10 11 naweza fika na bado hatujalala.
Wow, so thank you so much for those honest contributions. Now, I want to bring in TJ Jocelyn. So you've heard what they've said. There's a change in the sleep cycle, if I can call it now. And also having in mind that, as you said, it's like any time maybe we might be going back to school for the same. So is there any effect on those changes in the sleep cycles? Can it affect even the way, as we are saying, but much of their time it's supposed to be allocated to the academic works because they are students. Maybe most of them, they have forgotten that they are students. So can that have any impact on the way they manage their time, also concentration? Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Teacher Paul. I think I'll start a little bit earlier in life. Like sleeping and waking up.
Yes.
It's more of a biological process in the body. You find that at birth, a child is not able to control when they sleep and when they wake up. So they can sleep during the day, they can sleep at night, and they can sleep at different intervals and be awake at different intervals. As the child grows up, there are two hormones which control the sleeping and the waking up in the body.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah? So the hormone that controls the being awake and that which controls being asleep keeps on trying to stabilize so that as the child grows up, they are able to control when they start sleeping. Let me give you an example. When they go to the baby class, you find in the afternoon, those children will be sleeping.
Yes, that's true.
They sleep because by that time, their being awake has been active, and now the one for sleep start building up after they eat. Now they are ready to sleep. So they can sleep at 3 and they can continue. As they come to around 6 years, 5 years, they are able now to stay awake up to around 6 or 7 in the evening.
Yes.
And that's why you find they are fed, even some will be fed before others. Because the mother knows if this one falls asleep before they have eaten, they will not wake up to eat. So the minute the hormone that controls sleep comes now around 6, 7 in the evening, they'll sleep continuously until they wake up the following day. And as now the children age around 9, 10, 11 years, now this hormone which controls them being awake becomes so predominant that they can go even up to 8 or 9 or 10 in the night. Now the problem is with our teenagers. The hormone that controls their being awake can now proceed even to late hours as 11, 12, 1 in the night before the one for the sleep comes in. This problem is normally solved in school by them having time they go to sleep. There is the bell which will tell them it is time to sleep, and light will be off. So whether they want to sleep or not, they will have to sleep because there's no other activities going on. Another thing is, because they have been busy throughout the day, that time now they are longing for a moment to rest. So having them sleep a bit earlier is not an issue in school. Even those who go to day schools, they know they'll wake up early in the morning. And they'll have been very busy in school. So they'll go to bed because they need to wake up. They'll not extend up to 2 and they know I'm waking up at 4:30. So they'll go to sleep earlier. Now the problem is now when they are at home and there's no school and there's no going to school and they can extend and extend and extend. And there's nobody who is telling them, can you now go to sleep? And even when the parents say go to sleep, it's like they are talking to themselves. Most of the parents will identify with me out there. Sometimes you finish your business and you go to bed and you leave them with the TV because you are tired of telling them go to sleep. Now they can extend. Now when they extend, there are 2 dangers here. One is that they are going to confuse that biological clock in the body. When this biological clock is confused, these young people are going to have a difficult time when they go back to school. It will be so difficult for them to adjust. You know, they've been out for long. And 6, 7 months is long. And they are yet to stay at home for yet some other time we don't know. So they have already conditioned the body to do the way it wants. You know, Bonita says by 10, by 11, you are still not asleep. So they are going to bed when they feel sleepy. So they have conditioned the body. The teacher had struggled to make them start sleeping by 9. In as much as the body does not want to go and sleep. They are forced to sleep by light off, no noise. So they have nothing else. They just have to sleep. But now, Bonita says by 11, I'm not feeling sleepy. Steve says by 2, I'm not feeling sleepy. So they can go on and on until they will feel sleepy. It's not a wonder. There are those who are feeling sleepy at 4 a.m. in the morning and others at 5 a.m. in the morning. I know most parents will identify with me in this. And now when they fall asleep at 4 a.m. in the morning, when will they wake up? They wake up at 3 in the evening. Now they have caused a total confusion in the body. And it is going to be very difficult to school. They will have trouble with the teachers. One of the troubles will be sleeping in class. Because they were forced to go to sleep. The body had not tuned itself to sleep. So they will stay in bed as much as there is no light. They will stay in bed up to around 2, 3. For that, the bell is ringing to wake up, and they were just getting the sleep. So they will wake up very tired, one thing. They will be very tired in the morning. They will not be concentrating. Concentration levels will go down. The mind will not have cleared. Let me say something more about the mind. The mind has 2 compartments. You have what we call the short-term memory and the long-term memory. The short-term memory is the one which absorbs information when you are awake. information long-term memory when you are in deep sleep.
Yeah.
So when a student falls asleep, even what was in the short-term memory has not cleared
Yes.
to give way for more space for the teacher to teach the following day. So this child or this learner will be very tired in the morning.
Yes.
They will be sleepy because they have just been woken up when the sleep hormone was coming to the climax.
Yes.
So you find it is 9 a.m., the mathematics teacher is struggling to teach. The school program has assigned mathematics a bit early before they are tired, but the teacher is complaining. These students are sleeping
sleeping,
as early as 9 a.m. So there will be total challenge and total confusion. The
Yeah.
teachers will be discouraged. They punish the student. The student doesn't understand why am I being punished, and the whole confusion will be there.
Yeah,
So
now-
the best thing is let them start practicing that program now.
Yeah, that's why I now wanted to come in and ask you now,
Yeah.
how do they, now we are saying that they are almost, from what we have heard from the news, that we might go back to school, I don't know, maybe next month or we're not sure. So which are some of those steps that they need to start taking now earlier is a way of now reprogramming the body and trying to take it back to the way it used to be, and maybe you connect that with what is the role of the parents in assisting them to achieve that.
Okay. I would say this. I said there before. I normally use a chicken when I'm talking to students.
Yes.
Because a chicken really challenges me. You know, when I grew up, I would see the chicken keeping the eggs warm. And with a little brain,
Yes.
it used to know if I leave these eggs to get cold, even for a second,
Yes.
they are not going to hatch. And there's one thing I used to notice with my mother's chicken. Before they go out to even eat for 5 minutes and back, they only pick the little grass
Yes.
which was there and place it on the eggs. You know what was happening?
Yes.
With their little mind,
Yes.
they thought they were covering the eggs to remain warm with those strands of grass.
Yeah.
You know, so I challenge my dear students and I ask them, Bonita and Steve and all the other students
Yes.
listening to me out there. If a chicken knew, if I leave these eggs cold to get cold even within 1 hour, they will not hatch. You are keeping your books warm to hatch with good results.
Yes.
What are you planning?
Yes.
Can you think about yourself? Okay, you watch that movie. Your parents will not beat you up. Steve, you are of age.
Yes.
They will not come there with the belt they were using and the slippers they were using when you were young. Yeah? But now, with your brain, can you make a decision? Can you purpose that from today I know there's a biological clock in me that is going to be distorted if I continue this way, especially now when schools open, to restructure it to the former.
Yes.
Can you purpose now? Look at the time. Bonita, you will go back to that school, and in that time you will be in bed. Now when you extend to 11, just at the back of your mind, ask yourself, what justice am I doing to myself by staying up to 11? When you go back to school, for that, you said for that 5, you will be awake.
Yes.
When you wake up at 9, ask yourself, what am I preparing myself for?
That's true.
The other thing is the parents,
Yes.
even the small children, not only the teenagers,
Yes.
start preparing them now. Let them go to bed and don't allow them to extend up to 11. You know, it's not a wonder. I've said you find somebody waking up at 3 p.m.
Yes, yes.
So even parents, we need now to be a little bit more conscious. Schools are busy preparing for reopening. The cabinet secretary is going round institutions seeing their level of preparedness. You parents, what is your level of preparedness for the learners? It is not about knowing where the school fees will come from. It is not about checking whether the uniform will fit them and the shoes and all that. It's also about preparing them to adjust in time. They have been free. But now, let us try to manage time well in the family so that these children will not suffer so much when schools reopen.
Yes.
It is our responsibility.
That's true.
In as much as it is, we don't know when, but we can start it now, and the children will be much prepared.
Yeah. So thank you so much for that. Now, as we proceed now, we are seeing that the schools might reopen anytime soon, but we are not sure. So in case where maybe they may even extend up to next year, they still have like this month remaining, and we still need to manage that time. So initially they say they were used to that program day. They have a timetable and everything. Now, Steve, if I may bring you and ask you, maybe for the time you've been away and you've been at home, do you have a personal timetable?
Yeah, okay. Kwa matins wengi, tunajua si ati shule zimemalizwa, tunajua lazima tutarudi shule.
Yeah.
So timetable tuko nayo, but si ati mtu anaifuataga nini continuously. Utafika mahali uone, hey, hii sasa indaishi kuifuata na turudi shule.
Yeah.
Sasa inabidi unakaa ukitulia unasema, leo acha leo nifanye maths, kesho acha nifanye English, kesho kutwa acha nifanye Kiswahili.
Yeah. So like each and every day kuna subject yake, unaguza kidogo, siku ingine unaguza hivyo. So hivyo unaweza kaa like a week ama uchape wiki mbili kama hujaguza moja ama inapita tu. Okay, so thank you so much, Bonita. Tusikie from your side.
Hata mimi pia naona hiyo vile tu amesema.
So ka timetable kako kulichora, lakini
kufuatilia sana. Kama hizo the first weeks tulikuwa home.
Okay, so maybe ndio maana pengine unapata like in a day umeguza subject moja, hiyo ingine another day like that. So like much of the day masaa huko, okay, hauko busy sana vile. Could that be the reason why inakubidi saa zingine extend masaa ya usiku kwa sababu hujakuwa like busy sana mchana, Steve? Could that be the reason? No.
Kuna squad unaweza pata uchaguza kitabu
the whole day imepita tu
hadi siku mbili. Umekakaa hivyo ndio unaona matangazo ya view sasa ya mwalimu, unakumbuka hey na sijasoma.
Oh, so thank you so much for that. Now, Teacher Jocelyn, we said we need to keep on reminding them that they are students. Yes, even if they are doing any other things, first they are students, and much of their time in the day is supposed to be spent doing academic issues. Now, maybe how can we assist them when coming to be planning for the day such that they'll make the most out of it? Now, maybe even if you're saying that the schools will be reopened soon, we are not sure. What if it extends up to next year? There's still some months here to manage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like what these young people are saying. Yeah. Wote wanasema wako na timetable. Bonita uko nayo? Yeah, na Steve uko nayo. Lakini kuifuatilia sio sana.
Yes.
And I'll just ask Steve one question. Steve, how is it kufuatilia ile timetable ya shule?
Do some mwalimu anaingia class.
Do some mwalimu, as in it's following a timetable is not just a natural thing. Yeah. Unafuatilia juu mwalimu anaingia class. And that statement, Teacher Paul, carries a lot of weight.
Yes,
it's not a problem for Steve not to follow the timetable. Remember the other day we talked about their developmental stage. Yeah? Their developmental stage they just want to do something that is reading, that is making them feel good. And for sure, even you, if you went back to adult class, books will never be reading, and books will never be fun. But then now there's a times you sit down and ask yourself, is it about fun or is it about what awaits me in the future? You know, I remember when I was young, I would get some malaria and there was some tablets called chloroquine. Those tablets were not fun to swallow.
I remember that.
But you swallowed because you knew the minute you swallow, the headache and the discomfort will end. So you didn't swallow for fun.
Yes.
And you know there were whites, and there were some other sweet which were also white.
Yes.
So the two things, the sweet won't be sweet,
Yes.
but it could have negative results. You'd end up having your teeth, having cavities,
Yes.
and all that. But these other ones were white, they are not sweet, but when you have a sickness in the body, you take the tablet, you get well. So it is the same thing I would challenge our young people with. Books will never be fun. And that's why I talked about procrastination.
Yes.
You look at that vectors question, and you are like, hii wacha nifanye kesho asubuhi. Hiyo kesho asubuhi utaamka saa 5. Ukiamka saa 5, you are being told prepare lunch.
Yes.
So hiyo hesabu inaishia hapo. Tomorrow the same. So you keep on postponing. I'll do it tomorrow, but it never comes. So if you were to think of yourself of, I'm not doing this because it is fun, but I'm doing it because it haunts my future. You know, you think of it in terms of something tangible. You know, I tell the young people, sometimes doing something which you cannot see the outcome immediately may be a little bit boring.
Yes.
But you can try to make learning a little bit tangible by just looking at your environment. Just look at home and see the things you don't like. For example, maybe it is the food sometimes which is served, you feel it could have been served better. Maybe it is the house, you feel like if you had the opportunity, you would live in a better house. Maybe it's the family car, and you are like, when I grow up, I'll buy a better car than my mother, I'll buy a better car than my father, I'll buy a better car than my uncle. You see, you are looking at those things now, they look more tangible than in books.
Yes.
But then at the back of your mind, tell yourself, for me to buy this good car, it is through books.
Yes.
For me to be able to provide my family with better food than what mom is providing us with.
Yes.
Let me tell you, young people, even us, we would want to provide you with good food throughout.
Yes.
But we are not able because we are limited by finances.
Yes.
And our finances are determined by what we did in class.
Yes.
Because what I did in class determines my income at the moment. So if you look at it in terms of, I would want to take my children to better schools than I am in. I would want to live in a better house than what my parents are living in. I would want to drive a better car. You know, those things look more tangible to the young people.
Yes.
Now, tell yourself, the only way to this is good education. So when you sit down with the mathematics, and that topic of vectors is not sinking, tell the vectors, you must sink. Because I must pass you here for me to be able to get a better car. You geography, I'm trying your point, you are confusing me. Tell your mind, you must follow this point the way they are. You must understand it. Because it is by understanding you, I'll be able to provide a better meal than what you are being provided in this house.
Yeah.
You see, that now motivates you to read.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you detach your life from books,
Yes.
books becomes very boring.
Yes.
You don't enjoy anything about books.
Yes.
But if you attach books with something good, you will give yourself the strength. If you had said, tomorrow I'm waking up at 6
Yes.
to do some calculations in chemistry, when 6 reaches, you don't really feel like leaving that bed. Like you have gone through a very cold season and would want to remain a little bit warm in bed.
Yes.
But then you remind yourself, and said I'll wake up to do this chemistry because I was not understanding it, and it is a path to me building a better house than what we are living in.
Yes.
It is the path for me buying a better mattress than what I'm sleeping on.
Yes.
You know, now and you are like, let me leave you this mattress. My children are not going to sleep on
Yes.
this. So, and the only way to make this happen is me leaving you and go and read. You see, now that works as a motivation.
Yes.
But once you detach your academics from your general life, you don't get the motivation to
Yes.
move on.
Yes.
And that is the only way to help you stick to your timetable. Because when you have a timetable
Yes.
and you have something tangible to achieve out of it, you'll be able to stick with it. Otherwise, you keep on procrastinating and you will never follow it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that. I remember there was a time I used to teach high school. I've taught both boys and girls, biology and chemistry. And there's something I used to tell them, just as you have said, talk about attaching a higher value to what you're doing. So I think we need to, high time that we need to let our, the teenagers to understand, they need to see beyond the exam, beyond the results, beyond the grades. But as I was teaching them the biology, I ensure that I made them to understand, I'm not here just to teach you to pass exams, because what I'm teaching you right now will be even helpful even in the future. Because this biology is life. One day you'll come across a situation that affects maybe your health. Even before you consult the doctor, you will remember that there was something I was instructed about biology. See beyond the subject. So I think when they attach a higher value, that will guide you. Now you'll not be able just to go 1 day, 2 days without even looking at that subject, at that book, because there's a higher value that you have attached to that. So
Yes.
thank you so much for
And
that.
I would want to say something also on the parents. You know, sometimes as parents, we also make the morale of these learners, whatever, go down.
Yeah.
When you meet a learner is not following the timetable, you know, there is that parent who will tell you, you keep on wasting your time. Yeah. You know, when you tell the young person is wasting their time, these people said they spend time chatting.
Yes.
So they are not wasting time. They are
That's true.
spending time. So if you are parent to keep on now belittling and telling them shauri yako, yeah, mimi nimelipa fee, wewe fanya vile unataka. It's not right for you parents to give your children such statements. Understand the challenge they are going through and try to encourage them and show them how they can attach that high value to what they are going through now. It is motivating. You know, sometimes as parents, we forget you are students.
Yes.
And you used to also be late in school. We used to forge some things. We miss school for one reason or another.
Yes.
And then now when your child wants to miss, you want like to behave you are an angel. The other day they said they would want to know how it was for us.
Yes.
So parents, let's also encourage our children. Try to materialize the academics in line to what you see your child liking. Let's say, for example, your child has already said they want to become a pilot.
Yes.
When you see them not doing their assignments and not following the timetable,
Yes.
why don't you just talk to them positively
Yes.
and tell them pilots are not people who just wake up. Pilots work to become a pilot.
Yes.
You know, and one thing is about being a pilot, you must be very time conscious. If the plane is supposed to land in Kenya from London at this time, the pilot must ensure it lands that time. So if you cannot manage your little time with the timetable at home, how are you going to manage the airplane and make sure it lands on time? You see, now when you try to bring that way, they are like, oh, by the way, I need to be a little bit more organized in time because I must become a pilot.
Yes.
You see, now that hits them and it makes sense to them. But telling them you waste time, you have paid my money, I think that actually is on the parents.
Yes.
You are the one wasting your money. Why should you keep on paying money and you know this child is going to fail? So the parents should also be a little bit positive as we encourage the children to utilize the time. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Maybe I just want to read a comment, maybe one or two that on our Facebook page. You can see Brother Wanjao is following us. That is she's in Seattle, and he's seen following the discussion. What a great topic, especially for the young, the teens, and all of us. It does not matter how good a person may be his or her career, organizational skills, leadership, et al. Without proper time management, the going could prove really tough. Yeah, that's true. May God bless you, Brother Wajao, for following us. Amekuwa akitufuatilia sana, and he's been making those comments, and we have Riz saying this is awesome. May God bless you so much for that, just even sticking and following us. Now, as we come to the conclusion of today's discussion, because I can see Brother Mushoki, he has been together with us, even he was here even before, from around 3. He's one who is controlling the cameras. May God bless you so much. Naona anatuwekea tire green, and so we need to start winding up. Now, as we come to the conclusion of our discussion today, I would like to give Steve an opportunity to tell us maybe 1 or 2 things maybe you've learned from today's topic, and you'd also like to pass it to your friends. Uliwaita my boys.
Okay, for me chenye nimelan ni story na sleep.
Yeah.
Ukilala venye huko unalala story na shule, time ya shule utakuwa umeconfuse nini, hormones zako za mwili. Na sasa mimi naweza taka kuambia maboys wangu tusilale sana, alafu tena tusikawie sana kabla tu doze. Saa 4 saa 3 unaweza kuwa ushaingia kwa bed. Saa 1 ama 6 unaweza kuwa usharauka.
Especially now we are preparing to go back to school. Hiyo saa ya unakasaka kwa mind yako huwezi kaona, lakini kana kucontrol. Saa hii kamekuwa reprogram because of the time you have been away. Oh, thank you so much. At least maboys wako najua wamesikia. Bonita,
mimi nimelearn we stop procrastinating, and then we get organized. Just sahi ningependa kuongeleshea teenagers. Let's stop wasting our time. Let's get serious. Juu vile hata Jocelyn amesema, our future depends on it.
Yes, the future depends on what you do today, how you manage your time properly. Yeah, thank you so much for that. TJ Jocelyn, maybe you can have you parting short.
Yes, my parting shot is the martinis, my boys who are Steve, and my friends who are Bonita. Please listen to what these people are saying. Today they have learned something. If you start practicing now, organizing your time, you will find you'll have no struggles. If you are so busy during the day, you even by 10, it is too late for you to go to bed if you have been busy. Because that time the body is exhausted, the mind is full. I said the short-term memory is so full, it's just looking for a moment to clear, and you wake up in the morning. So the secret is, please keep yourself busy, and keep yourself busy with what matters most for you. For you now, in as much as you may want to have what you call social assets, many friends, what you need more now is academics. So keep yourself more busy with your books. Keep your books warm. They are going to hatch soon. So may you have that brain being put into better use than just sitting there with friends chatting. Keep your books warm, and you are going to have the results, and your future is going to be enjoyable. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for those wonderful contributions. Now, as we come to the conclusion of today's discussion, I believe you have learned something. And now, maybe I also add maybe my part usually that you identify your prime time. This goes now to the teenagers who are students. Identify your prime time. What is the prime time? Maybe there are those who will concentrate much in the morning hours, and there are others who their level of concentration is at best in the evening. So do not copy your friends. As like in my case, I'll understand much in the morning. So you find me waking up as early as 3:30 or even 4. But then into the night, maybe from around 7 to 10, I'll struggle maybe with sleep. So identify your prime time, because you said your primary role for now is being a student. So May God bless you so much for being together with us. Continue expecting much from this channel. There are other issues will be continue to be to discuss them that are beneficial to you, the teenagers, and also they are informative even to the parents. So still, you can on our Facebook and our YouTube channels. We still have other other meetings like the Sunday service and the Thursday fellowship, because we are based from we're coming from a church. So please join us if you find time on Sunday and any other time that we'll be having these online meetings. May God bless you so much. Let's meet next week, God willing. So thank you so much, Chasa Moshoki, for your time, and John up there on the technical bench.